Hi, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your December 6th to the 16th, 2021 money and career reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Taurus, December 6th to the 16th, 2021 Taurus, money and career. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the world. And we have the death card, which is Scorpio energy. If we have Scorpio within our natal chart or within our lives, it's going to come out more at our root. And these people will affect us more than maybe even we realize at times. So just be aware of this, that our personality in our natal chart, if we have Scorpio in it, that part of our personality just comes out more as a root part of ourselves. And people who are Scorpios affect us more during this time. So be aware. Then we have the Knight of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. If we're born on the cusp with Gemini, or again, if we have air sign energy within our natal chart or within our lives, they come through more powerfully in our inner self. Then we have the Ten of Swords, which is actually a really good card. So the Ten of Swords is the darkness before the dawn, but it's also realizing all the pain and all the hurt that we have been through, that we have suffered, has helped forge us, has helped shape us. Now, not all of it has a reason because, well, the great saying is shit happens, and sometimes it is inexcusable and absolutely horrific and cannot be explained. But there's an arsenal in our weaponry now to be able to move forward and to be strong and fierce and just absolutely determined. And we're knights, so we're the Knight of Swords. We're definitely taking this energy and being warriors, which is great. We then have the Eight of Swords. We're going to be too much in our own heads, especially emotionally. We're going to overthink. We're going to overanalyze. So just be aware of that. And then we have the Nine of Cups, which is blessings and beauty. It's sweetness like honey melting on our tongue. So there is just this beautiful contrast, which we won't really see the Eight of Swords as being beautiful, but just even that self-awareness. It could be neuroticism here or anxiety or however it manifests within our lives, but being aware And then being also able to enjoy our lives, being able to say, yeah, I see and I see and I feel and I understand and I can harp on this and I can just be buried in this. But I'm choosing to enjoy my life and I'm choosing to embrace the prosperity and the beauty that is me. That's a triumph. And that's something that we have to honor within ourselves. And we'll have a tendency just to overlook. We have the Six of Swords. We're gathering up our knowledge and we're moving forward. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is prosperity and success and bounty. And it's God's source spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift just for us, because we are earth sign energy, for the prosperity, for bounty to come into our lives, for us to open up the door and say, there is so much more here than I ever realized that I could be embracing, that I could have in my life and for myself. And so there is just going to be the sense of I'm moving towards something greater and I'm taking all my knowledge, and instead of having it weigh me down and destroy me, because that's going to be something that we're working through during this time. And I don't know exactly what it is. It will be different, of course, for each and every one of us. But there's this transformation of our own inner being as we start to open up the door to the world. And as we start to say, there is more for me here than I ever realized. And that leads us on this journey that has us fighting with ourselves to say, yes, I can do this. And we're going to think, but I failed, but I let everybody down, but I didn't, and I lost, and I hurt, and there was pain, and there was suffering, and spirit saying, yes, but that is what life is. And now I'm taking my knowledge and I'm moving towards richness. I'm moving towards prosperity. I'm moving towards profound success. So let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of here. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is Cernunnos. Now, this is Capricorn energy. So it can be that we basically have to be mindful of Capricorns, but we also have to be mindful of chaos. So chaos is just a part of life. And Cernunnos is different than the devil. The devil is what Cernunnos represents in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. But in Celtic tradition, Cernunnos is the god of chaos. And so here we have every action has a positive or negative reaction, which is also science. But we're going to see here that there's this longing for excitement and adventure and this sense of wanting more. But what we have to be very mindful of is falling into chaos because we want more. Because there's this sense of people who are like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, we don't have to overthink, overanalyze. And it almost feels like at that moment where we say, you know what, I'm stepping out of this chaos and I'm stepping into this bounty. We become fearful. We become overwhelmed, or, you know, something happens where we think, oh my gosh, no, I have to close that door again. So just be aware of this, that there is chaos that is going to try and pull us in and going to try and make us doubt ourselves and the way that we need to move forward for our own financial prosperity and our own career prosperity. So just be aware of that. And it can't even be that we've been through this. We're gun shy now, where it's like, okay, but I took that job and I took that risk and I put myself out there and it was horrible and it was terrible, or, you know, I didn't get paid and everything fell apart. And so here we're going to be fighting against that. So let's look at the chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is the universal light. Now, this is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above our crown. And this is just beauty and brilliance shining forward within our lives and for ourselves. This is a radiance of soul. This is a desire of what we want and where we need to be. This is an opening of a door to so much more because we're letting ourselves shine. And this light is shining down and just centering us, focusing us, and healing us in a very real way. So let's look at the world. The world is going to be opening to us, or it's going to be showing us much more clearly. So there can be the sense, and there is the sense in the world that if you are successful, you know, it depends on, of course, where you live, but success looks like this, you know, and it's usually a very posh person, you know, having all the stuff, doing all the things. But what if our success looks differently? What if we're claiming our own little corner of the world and our own little sense of prosperity and abundance and bounty and brilliance and just power and beauty? And so here the world opens and we start to see ourselves being able to step into what we want from our world with more determination, with more focus, and also without being terrified. There is this sense here of just being overwhelmed. And we're going to look at it and say, you don't get to take away my prosperity, my desire. And we have the death card. We, as the world is opening to us, okay? And it can be that our world has changed. What we have been through, what has defined us, what we have had to live through has changed us. And the death card is the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. It is this sense of being transformed, whether we want it to be or not. And it can be a mourning process because there was power in who we were. There could have been innocence in who we were, or dreams in who we were. And the way that we're growing might not ever have been the way that we imagined. You know, when we were envisioning our future, when we were 15 years old, it could look very different than where we stand right now. And that can be upsetting. But there's also going to be a sense here of power as we embrace the way that we have transformed. We start to embrace our talents and our skills and our wisdom and our, sense of self. We start to see ourselves as a person who is always dying and being reborn, as a person who is always coming into their own power, gaining their understanding, seeing themselves more and more and more. And so this becomes the game changer here. It's not to mourn the fact that life throws us curveballs that we may never be prepared for, but it's to look at how we handle those situations and being able to see the fire and the gumption and the passion and the power within us. And it brings us to being knights, to being warriors. I mean, it's no surprise that the Knight of Swords comes forward, the fiercest of the knights, holding the only real weapon in the whole entire tarot deck, the weapon of the sword, the weapon of nobility, the weapon of prosperity, okay? And the weapon of time and effort and skill. And the swords come up a lot here, because we're being forged and we're being shaped. And that's what a sword is. It's a piece of metal that is forged and is shaped and is strengthened and goes through this whole process to become what was the fiercest weapon in medieval times. Well, you could argue that, but you could argue against that. But a fierce weapon, a weapon of power, a weapon of prosperity, a weapon that if you were handed a sword, it changed your destiny and it changed the destiny of your whole entire family. And so we're embracing this power. We're embracing the sword that gets to embody us, that gets to transform us, that gets to inspire us. And the sword cuts through our doubts and our fears and our negativity. And also, we are trained here to be able to use it, to be able to be empowered by it, to be able to break down barriers. This is us slaying the dragons and the demons that hold us back. This is us cutting through the poison of our world. And this is us ascending, raising our vibrational energy and ascending into who we need to be, who we want to be, and what we desire. And we look at the completion. We look at the decade or the decades that we have had swords stabbed into our back, where we have been wounded, where we have been overwhelmed, where we have just felt like, no, I can't. And now we're taking all that knowledge and we're pulling it out, and we're finding that we have now all these swords, all these different weapons to fight our enemies against. And you might be saying, Dane, we're talking about money and career. What the heck does this have to do with it? This has to do with our fierceness. This has to do with the seeing of our work and the transformation of ourselves. This also has to do with the fact that we're not going to be staying in the same place that we start off in. This is a time where we can start off thinking one way about us and then absolutely transforming by the end of this time. But also building up the seeds to say, I am planting something more. I am building something better. The doubt and the fear that is within our hearts, it needs to be acknowledged. This is chaos. This is intensity. This is, everything that we think, I can't move forward. I can't possibly get to where I want to be or do what I need to do. And the Eight of Swords has us feeling trapped and overwhelmed. And this is going to be a choice that we're making during this time. And it will affect our pocketbooks and it will affect our careers. Do I stay tied back, held back, denied, fearful, afraid, and overwhelmed? Or do I embrace the sweetness and the joy that I can find within life, even when life is at its darkest moments, even when I am completely overwhelmed? And I can start to embrace joy and prosperity. This is the Minor Arcana wish card. Our hearts can start to focus on our wishes, can start to focus on what we love, on what we need within our lives, and then that starts to come forward like sweetness on our tongue, like honey, like beauty, and just that warmth. It's kind of like in a cold day when the sun comes out and you just sit under that sun, soaking up its warmth. And that's going to be what inspires us. All of a sudden, we're starting to see ourselves come out of a shell, come out of a darkness that we might not even have known that we were in, because we were going through the motions. We were doing the things that we were supposed to be doing. And then it has us gathering up our knowledge and our wisdom. And it has us moving towards something so much more than we ever expected, so much more than we ever anticipated. And our emotions will come up. The road might get bumpy here and there, But God, Source, Spirit, again, however you see the divine, the universe, is handing us a gift of prosperity, a seed to be planted that can grow like what is it, Jack and the Beanstalk, into that plant that gives so much prosperity. Also challenges, right? Because you have a giant. But there's this sense here of I'm embracing prosperity and success and bounty. And I'm having this little seed and I'm growing it and I'm nurturing it. And it is my success. And it's going to be different for all of us. It might not be the flashy cars and the big house. It might be something a lot more quiet and a lot more reasonable. But this is what we're doing during this time. We're looking at the new beginning because remember, we're preparing ourselves for the turn of the year. And the turn of the year next year is 2022, the angel number 222, new beginnings. And we are looking at what we need to purge for these new beginnings to come forward, for this prosperity to come into our lives, and for bounty to be a part of us. We're planting these seeds and we're being inspired. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Swords. It's hurtful, hateful words. It's being too much in our own heads. It's doubting, it's fearing, and it's being overwhelmed. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is communication. This is the throat chakra. We need to communicate with ourselves, with what we want, with others. We are also going to be communicating on a deeper level. It's not just going to be about the words. It's going to be about the body language and the emotions and the auras and just the feel of it all. We're going to be taking that in, and we need to take that seriously, especially in business where we can have people who really want to knock us off our game because they want the promotion, they want the success, they want themselves to move forward in bounty and not you. Right? So here we might be dealing with some tricky people and we can't let them get to us. We are fantastic warriors during this time. So embrace that. Our subconscious rooted energy is the Emperor. This is Aries energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Aries, it comes out so strongly. But this is again, that warrior energy. Aries is the god of war. I'm embracing my passion and my success and my determination. I am looking at myself and I am knowing that I am meant to succeed. And we're just embracing that warrior mentality. Because we are moving forward towards success, towards bounty, towards brilliance, towards abundance, and we're not letting anything or anyone stand in our way. It brings us to our subconscious, inner self, and it's the King of Swords. It's moving from that knight to that king, to the King of Swords, to the person who knows their worth, who knows their talent, who knows their mind, and is cutting through so much nonsense, and is ruling their existence and themselves. That's what we're doing. This is a time of deep thought. This is a time of deep understanding. This is a time of brilliant words. This is a time where we have a mind that's keen and sharp. Utilize it. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self, and it's the Knight of Wands. This is us moving forward for our careers with passion and determination and fire and focus. This could be that we start to look at things and say, well, why not? Why not try this? Why not go after this? Why not see? And knowing that, yes, if I jump, I will fall. That's just part of life. We will have our highs and our lows and our lefts and our rights and everything in between. But if I give up on me, then I have automatically failed. And I'm not doing that. This is a time where, again, we are that knight. We are that warrior. It brings us to our subconscious public arena self. And it's the Ten of Swords again. It's that darkness before the dawn. It's that sense of looking at all the pain and all the hurt and all the suffering that we have been through and seeing how strong it has made us instead of how it has broken us. Because here's the secret that nobody wants to tell us. Everybody is broken on this world. Everybody is. It's how we deal with being broken. It's how we rise from being broken that makes all the difference in the world. All right, Taurus. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. And remember the repeat of the number 10? That's transformation. It's transformation of the mind during this time. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity that is us. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Taurus.